Hey, Coach, obviously a big game of runs tonight. What were you most proud of from your group tonight, particularly late there in the game on the defensive end to come out with the win?
Yeah, it was a 48-minute game tonight. Obviously, we, obviously didn't start great. And then they had a rough second quarter, and we just kind of stayed the course. We course corrected it in game and showed some toughness. But the bigger thing is just, I think we just continue to learn lessons. We had a 5-game trip, and we try to evaluate these in totality. And I thought, this trip was good for us. We had some ups, we had some downs. There's things we can certainly improve. But we learned some lessons, and I think we improved through the games, and that's ultimately what we're trying to do, is just continue to make progress and, put our best foot forward, and then, evaluate and prepare and do it all over again. And I thought on this trip, we kind of walked that walk.
Barry Trammell, the Oklahoman.
Yeah, Mark, I think I've said this about Chris Paul for years. I don't think he shoots enough. And there are times when I feel that way about Shea. But down the stretch tonight, he seemed to really look for his shot. How do you feel about his frequency of shooting? How much he knows when to take over or when to just, facilitate? What are your thoughts on that?
It's a good question. It's a delicate balance, I think, Barry, because those guys have the ball so much that, when they're on the ball like that, they're game managers, and they're responsible in a lot of ways for involving the rest of the team. And when the ball moves and different guys are involved, it builds confidence, it builds chemistry. And obviously those are great players. Chris has it down to an art. He's an unbelievable game manager and has an unbelievable feel for how to do that. And I think that's a developing skill for Shea. And he's, going back to this trip, I think he's had a really good balance on this trip where he understands how to choose his spots, but he also understands how to trust guys. I thought he really trusted his teammates down the stretch tonight. He passed the ball really well, get other guys involved. And ultimately they could shoot more and they would score more if they did, but those are two players that care deeply about making the team better, and that's what makes them great lead guards. Shea's obviously developing that, but I think that's the balance that they're trying to strike, and I think that's why there's probably some plays that they don't hit the gas on, but I think they're investing in the bigger picture, and that's certainly something that Chris does great, and that Shea is developing and has really developed pretty well over the last 5-10 games or so.
Joe Masato, the Oklahoman.
Mark, Chris had high-scoring, efficient quarters there in the third and the fourth. Really got hot and sort of carried them out of their slump. But you guys obviously came up clutch at the end in defending him. What was it like, sort of game planning for him? And it seemed like there was some back and forth talk, between him and the bench. Just what was it like, sort of seeing him again and game planning against him after coaching him last year?
Yeah, I mean, we always knew, I think, organizationally competing against him, but certainly last year I had a front row seat at that. I mean, how great of a player he is. And so, he's a tough game plan. He played great tonight. I thought Lou did a great job down the stretch, not necessarily with the on-ball stuff with Chris, but he drew like 3 illegal screens in the last 6 minutes. I mean, those were unbelievable plays, and just the will to continue when the guy's kind of cooking. Lou's will to continue to fight like that was impressive. But yeah, I mean, it's every night you're playing against, it's the NBA, we're playing against really good players. They didn't even have Booker tonight. And Saric, I mean, they're missing guys and they're banged up, but every night you're playing against high level players, and Chris Paul is impressively still in that category, even at this stage of his career.
Nick Gallo, Thunder Broadcasting.
Mark, you mentioned the work that Al Horford was doing back in Oklahoma City over the last couple of weeks. Just your thoughts on the way that he kept himself prepared to come into the situation tonight, and what stood out to you about his game tonight?
Yeah, I mean, that's what's impressive about, Al, George, Muscala, and the guys that, Chris Paul, the guys that have come through the program, is, the professionalism to keep yourself ready and know what you need, and to be ruthlessly consistent with that process. And that's what we're trying to teach as a program, and that's what we're trying to develop across the roster. That's something that's a learned skill. It's not something that you walk into the NBA with. You have to learn how to manage the schedule. You have to learn how to take care of yourself, and you have to learn what you need. Everybody's different. And Al, he's impressive in that way. We had resources back there for him, but he knows exactly what he needs. And he did obviously an unbelievable job of keeping himself ready. That was the expectation. We wouldn't have expected anything different out of him. And I thought his play tonight was obviously indicative of that.
Myron Patton, Fox 25.
How much can you guys learn just having to close out a game like this? Not just the points made, but like the big rebound by Darius Baisley there at the end. We had to kind of scrap with a lot of guys who are frankly a lot bigger than him, 8 and people of that nature. How much can that help you down the road?
Yeah, we're going to learn from all of it, and I thought Maladon, was really good down the stretch. He showed great poise. Bays again, another big shot, big rebound. But Teo, he didn't close the Portland game. We had him out there, and we chose to close with Kenrich. And I thought Teo did a really good job of the game was kind of amped up yesterday or 2 days ago when Teo got back in there. And I didn't think he was, playing to the level of the game at that point. And tonight he did, and so that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to find progress and learn from all these experiences. And to your point, we can learn from the situational stuff in this game, but we want to learn from every game. We want to learn from the games that are blowouts in either direction. We want to, just take the lessons and continue to progress forward.
Back to Nick Gallo.
Just one thing kind of related to Al. I know sort of a team-wide effort, but what did you all do as a group? And Al, how did he contribute to holding 8 into 5 points and only 7 shot attempts? Seemed like that you all made him kind of uncomfortable tonight.
Yeah, I thought he did a good job on him. I think, Muskie and Roby had him at different times too. And, we were just trying to be, physical with him. He's a really good rebounder. He's a really good post player. He's a guy that you can't be second to contact with him. And he's developing, an ability to duck in and to get on the glass. And that was a huge emphasis with him in the game. As much as Chris kind of got loose there a little bit, we did do a nice job with him. So just got to keep, all these players present different challenges. And he's certainly a really good player, that we did a nice job on tonight.